To configure a sensor that is paired to your network to trigger a scene when it detects motion and then automatically switch it off after a period of time when motion stops being detected, go to the More tab, Sensors section, and select the sensor. You'll first get prompted to enable what's known in the Kasumbi system as control hierarchy, which is the logic that the system uses if you've got different types of commands or products paired to the network and you need the system to think in a different logical order. You must enable it to be able to program sensors. So push enable, then you'll just be taken to the sensor settings where you can rename the sensor if you wish to rename it. You can change the icon of the sensor if you want it to look like something other than its default icon. Similar things that you can do with switches with luminaires in the luminaires tab. And then you'll see that in this case, the sensor has a presence capability, so a motion capability. It also has a daylight sensor included. You can enable or disable those features as you wish. In this case, we're just looking at the sensor function. So I just want to use it to trigger a scene. So I push under the presence sensor, the not in use, and then select the presence option. Everywhere in the app, you'll see some help text underneath the options to tell you a little bit about what it does. So the presence option will activate a scene when it detects motion, and then when presence stops being detected, after a preset delay that you can define as passed, it will fade that scene out. So I'll select presence, I'll select the presence scene, and I push done. I don't need to worry about this local control setting for these sensors. That's described in the user guide, the purpose of that option. You can then set the linger time, which is how long the sensor will wait when it stops detecting motion before it fades the scene off. So I can choose something here, 1 minute for example, and push done. And then I can define the fade time. So when the sensor switches on or off, it'll take 10 seconds to reach the scene level or fade it off. I can also configure the sensor to remove any active manual control. For example, if the sensor has actually been overridden by a switch, it will also deactivate that at the same time. What I then do is I push done, and then I can push back, and I can see that this sensor is in presence mode. It's triggering scene 1 and it has a 1 minute linger time. You can also see, because it had lux capabilities, you can see its current lux level and its signal strength being indicated on the right there. And when that sensor detects motion, it will then trigger the scene, as long as there's no other more important command active in the control hierarchy, which you remember you had to enable at the beginning of that.